welcome to your mobility sequence for beginners. I'm going to take you through a flow of different mobility exercises in this video. Now, this isn't for time or reps, so you can follow along with the video and just do a few moments of each, but then know that you can set your own timings. So maybe aim to work on each of these moves for anything between 30 and 45 seconds, and just focus on your breath and how you control each movement. I hope you enjoy this flow. Beginning here by warming up the wrists ahead of our mobility flow. So just a couple of circles while spreading wide into the fingers and pressing into the fingertips as you move. Maybe changing direction and just starting to load more weight into the wrists. Taking the fingertips to the outer edges of the mat. Start to shift the weight left to right, just finding a flexion in the wrists. Slowly incorporating a little bit more weight and gradually warming up the wrists. And then taking the fingertips to point towards the knees and gently moving forwards and back. This is the deepest stretch for the wrists, so just move nice and slowly here, control that stretch. And then moving into a counter stretch for the wrists, so bringing the back of the hands down towards the mat and applying the tiniest bit of pressure just to find a releasing stretch through the wrists. Moving into your cat-cow spinal mobility stretch. As you inhale, drop the belly button down towards the mat, and as you exhale, arch the spine up towards the ceiling, and repeat, just flowing with your breath. Now, standing at the top of our mat, we're just going to roll down through the spine, bringing the hands down and walking them to the top of the mat. You can lower your knees down here and press down through the triceps, coming into a gentle back bend. So a cobra stretch here. Lowering yourself back down to the mat, push open back and start to walk the hands back in towards the feet. We're going to repeat this move nice and controlled, taking the weight into the hands as we walk out and flowing through that same gentle back bend. Notice you can keep a bend in the knees throughout this movement if the back of the legs feel tight at all. Now coming into a squat position, taking the arms out straight ahead of you and just working to get the thighs parallel to the mat. Start to rise, lengthening into the legs, and then once again sitting into your squat. Maybe trying to find a deeper range of motion each time you sit into your squat. Being sure to keep the heels down and the toes tracking forwards or at a slight angle. Now from our mat, in a 4-point kneeling position, we're going to bring in our 3-point stability. So one at a time, lifting into an arm or a leg, and you can start with your left leg here. Slowly lifting and then lowering back to the mat before lifting into the opposite side. And you want to focus on your core stability throughout, avoiding any twisting through the torso. And more of a challenge here with a 2-point stability. So alternate leg and arm lifts, and then controlling them back to the mat. Once again, making sure your torso is controlled and braced and not twisting. As you slowly lift and then lower, alternate arm and leg, and return them to the mat. Into a laid position on our mats, we're going to hollow out the core, so just bring the spine down to the mat, tilt the pelvis under. So here, nice strong core. Before we start to lower, alternate arm and leg towards the mat without creating an arch in the lower back. So be sure to stay with your breath here, and know that you don't need to lower your arm and leg entirely down to the mat. Just as far as you can without feeling the spine start to lift. And now here is a more advanced option for a compound mobility move. By stepping forward with the left leg into a low lunge, you're going to bring the right knee down to rest on the mat. Coming into an easy twist here with your right hand down on the mat and the left arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Take a breath here before moving into your lizard stretch. Both hands placing down on the mat, and you're working into your hips before tucking the toes under and returning to a plank or a downward facing dog. And then repeating on the opposite side, stepping forward with the right leg this time, bringing the left knee down to the mat and the left hand just inside the right foot. Right arm is going to reach up to the ceiling, finding that twist through the chest, through the torso, before bringing the right hand back down and moving into your lizard stretch on the right side, working into the hip flexors and lengthening through the spine. And then just making your way back into a kneeling position. Well done.